Okay, let's dive right in. There was some significant news coming out of Telangana around June 10th, 2025.
That's right. Chief Minister Revanth Reddy expanded his cabinet.
Now, cabinet expansions, they happen,
Yeah.
but this one felt different. When you look closer, it seems less like routine politics and more like a very strategic play.
Absolutely. It wasn't just shuffling deck chairs.
Yeah.
The details suggest this was a calculated move, maybe with an eye on things much bigger than just Telangana itself.
Right. It feels like a piece on a much larger chessboard, potentially affecting national politics down the line.
Exactly. And looking at the analysis we've got, it really points towards Congress using Telangana as a kind of, well, a political
A
laboratory.
laboratory. Interesting. So for this deep dive, that's what we want to unpack, right? What exactly is this experiment? Is it a smart strategy, a potential roadmap for Congress, or is it more political theater? Lots of sound and fury signifying, well, maybe not nothing, but perhaps less than it seems.
That's the core question. What are the real insights here? Let's start with the event itself, Juneteenth, the main action. CM Revanth Reddy brings new faces into his cabinet.
And the critical part wasn't just the expansion itself, but who got the nod. The mix of people seems very intentional.
Highly intentional, yes. The information points to specific community representation being key. One minister from the backward classes, or BCs,
Okay.
two from the scheduled castes, the SC communities, and also, significantly, a legislator from the scheduled tribes, ST, was made deputy speaker of the assembly.
So definitely not names pulled out of a hat. It looks like a real attempt to balance those complex caste equations in the state. That's always a tricky balancing act, isn't it?
It really is, trying to ensure different groups feel represented at the top table.
It's like trying to curate the perfect playlist, making sure every community gets a track they recognize.
That's a good way to put it. It signals.
Which brings us back to this idea of Telangana as a lab. Why this state? What makes Telangana so crucial for this potential Congress strategy?
Well, think about Congress's position nationally. For a long time, maybe they relied a bit on what people call the Tina factor. There is no alternative.
Right, especially against fragmented regional opposition.
Exactly. But the rise of the BJP changed the game completely. Now, Congress really needs to reinvent itself, find a compelling news story, a new way to connect with voters.
And Telangana offers the right conditions for that reinvention.
It seems so. It's got a really diverse mix of communities, castes, social groups. This makes it almost a perfect testing ground for policies focused on, well, social justice and bringing different groups together.
So the thinking is, if they can make this work in Telangana and navigate these complexities, maybe they can build a model to use elsewhere.
That seems to be the logic, like rolling out Inclusivity 2.0 in a controlled environment
Yeah.
before taking it national. Trading in the old playbook, perhaps.
Okay, let's dig deeper into that core idea. Social justice. What does that actually mean in practice here, based on the actions we're seeing?
Fundamentally, it's about giving a fair shot, maybe more than a fair shot, to groups that have historically been on the margins. We're talking particularly about the BCs, SCs, and STs. Congress seems to be making a big bet on winning their support.
And it's not just talk, right? There are concrete policy moves being highlighted.
Oh, yes, definitely documented actions. A major one was conducting a state-level caste census in Telangana.
Right, the caste census. That wasn't just about collecting numbers, was it? It felt like a political statement in itself.
Absolutely, a significant one.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, that move actually seemed to put some pressure on the national government. The Modi-led NDA then announced they would do a nationwide caste census.
Wow, like getting caught copying homework almost? A state-level initiative forcing a national response. What else?
Well, there were also moves to increase reservations for backward classes using legislation, and importantly, steps towards subcategorizing scheduled caste groups.
Ah, the SC subcategorization. We have reports confirming that, including around that June 10th date. The idea there, I gather, is to make sure benefits actually reach the most disadvantaged within the SC community, not just the sort of more dominant groups within the category.
Precisely. It's about refining how support is targeted, making sure it gets to those who need it most.
Mhm.
So you have the census, the reservations, the subcategorization.
It feels like a package deal.
It does. And the view seems to be that this could be more than just symbols. But, and it's a big but, it all depends on how well they actually implement these things. It's like, ordering a spicy biryani is one thing, actually making it taste good is another.
Or maybe being the chef mixing this social justice stew requires careful attention to the ingredients in the cooking process.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
Yes, potential's there. Delivery is key.
So how do these specific Telangana actions, the cabinet picks, the census, the reservations, connect to the bigger picture, to the 2029 general elections?
The analysis strongly suggests this is all part of a long game. Telangana is the dress rehearsal, the pilot program for a potential national comeback strategy.
Yeah.
The aim seems to be cultivating a loyal base among these marginalized communities across India. Show them in Telangana that Congress genuinely cares, represents them, delivers for them.
Championing the underdog, essentially,
Well,
hoping that message resonates nationwide.
exactly. The deliberate community balance in the cabinet, pushing the caste census first, these are seen as foundational steps to build that trust. Prove it works here, then scale it up.
But politics is never that straightforward. There must be doubts, skepticism about whether this will actually work.
Oh, absolutely. The biggest question mark is simply, will voters buy it?
Mhm.
And perhaps more crucially, will the promised benefits actually reach the people who are supposed to get them? Will it trickle down?
Which brings us squarely to what feels like the make or break issue highlighted everywhere: execution, delivery.
Yes. This is where the rubber meets the road. People in Telangana, like anywhere, aren't just impressed by announcements or new faces. They need to see and feel actual change in their lives.
And delivery here means what, specifically? What does good look like?
It means welfare schemes actually reaching beneficiaries without hurdles. It means seeing better schools, better healthcare access. It means real jobs being created, not just promises. It means things like land rights being secured without getting tangled in, endless red tape or corruption.
Because the sources warn pretty clearly if that delivery system is broken, if there's too much bureaucracy or graft.
Then the whole social justice narrative just falls apart. It loses all credibility.
Right, like that caste census, it's just a fancy spreadsheet if the data isn't used to make real policy changes that improve lives, right?
Exactly. Or new ministers' representation is vital. But if they don't actually deliver services or improvements for their communities, they risk being seen as, well, just figureheads. A screen door on a submarine, as one analogy put it.
Yeah, that Juneteenth report specifically mentioned the risk of it all being seen as symbolism without tangible improvements.
And that's the tightrope they're walking. The intention might be good, but the impact is what counts.
Now, this isn't happening in a vacuum. How does this Telangana strategy fit into the bigger national political scene, that constant push and pull between Congress and the BJP?
It's right at the heart of it. Congress is clearly trying to carve out a distinct identity, position itself as the party focused on social justice for marginalized groups, as a contrast to the BJP.
And the BJP reacting with their own caste census announcement shows they're definitely watching closely, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's a direct response. It shows Congress's move hit a nerve. It's like two master chefs competing Congress, trying maybe more exotic spices with this social justice focus. BJP perhaps sticking to more familiar recipes. The question is what the voters, the diners, actually prefer.
It's a constant political chess match.
Always. Every move prompts a countermove.
Okay, besides the cabinet and the policies, there was another piece mentioned changes within the Congress party structure in Telangana itself, the TPCC.
Yes, the Telangana Pradesh Congress Committee. That's also part of this picture. We know CM Revanth Reddy met the high command in Delhi back on May 30th, 2025.
Okay.
And a key topic was restructuring the state party unit. The idea seems to be making the party organization itself reflect this inclusivity goal, aligning the grassroots structure with the overall strategy.
And there were specific proposals for that, like new positions.
That's right. There was talk, confirmed in a report from earlier, February 7th, 2025, about creating 4 new working president posts.
4 new ones.
Yes, and specifically designated to represent different communities. 1 minority, 1 Reddy, 1 ST, and 1 SC.
So mirroring the representation efforts in the government within the party ranks too, trying to build that diverse leadership pipeline from the ground up.
It seems like a way to embed this strategy right into the party's DNA.
Uh-huh.
But again, there's a note of caution.
Always a but.
Always. Just shuffling the organizational chart or creating new posts doesn't automatically win elections or make policies work better.
Right. It's like a cricket captain changing the batting order. It doesn't help if the team doesn't actually score runs or take wickets. The connection to the common person, the delivery of benefits, that's still paramount.
Exactly. A revamped structure is only useful if it helps deliver those tangible results people are looking for. Otherwise, it's just internal party mechanics.
So let's try and pull all these threads together. What's the final verdict based on what we're seeing? How should we assess this whole Telangana strategy?
Well, it definitely looks like a high-stakes gamble for Congress. They're putting a lot of chips on this social justice and representation strategy, trying to fundamentally reshape their appeal. The cabinet picks, the census, the reservations, the party revamps, they all seem like pieces of a larger blueprint aimed squarely at 2029.
A big bet. And the absolute crucial factor for whether this bet pays off.
It comes back to that one word, delivery. Can they actually translate the promises, the policies, the representation into real-world improvements that ordinary people feel every day?
And for you listening, this isn't just some abstract political game, is it? Why should you really care about how this plays out?
Because ultimately, it's about whether things actually get better. It's about whether kids from disadvantaged backgrounds get a better education, whether people can find decent jobs, whether welfare support reaches families who need it, whether everyone feels their voice matters. These are fundamental things.
And the sources suggest if Congress can deliver in Telangana, if they can make this strategy work on the ground.
They might just have found a potent formula, something that could genuinely revive their national prospects.
But if they stumble on delivery, if the promises feel empty,
then it risks being just another political exercise. Lots of activity, but no real change. They might end up singing the same old tune while the BJP continues to dominate the stage. It's like inventing the wheel versus actually getting the cart rolling. One is theory, the other is practice.
the political drama is definitely ongoing. And, the people of Telangana and indeed across India have a front row seat. The real question, maybe the only question that matters in the end, isn't just what moves were made back in June or what was discussed in Delhi.
Right. It's whether those moves translate into things getting better, concrete improvements in people's lives.
So as you follow this story, as you look at what's happening, what will you be looking for? What specific signs, what tangible changes on the ground will tell you whether this high-stakes strategy is actually succeeding or failing?
That's the key thing to watch. The answer won't just be in the political commentary, but in the everyday reality for millions of people. Keep watching.